All right, welcome to the program. Good afternoon to you. It's Good Afternoon, Ghana. And I'm back on your screen with the program to discuss the issue of something that's hitting, maybe I would say, young relationships, right? Young relationships, because you find that the women in these relationships are young, and equally the men are also young. And whoever commits the crime, your whole life is ahead of you. So I'm not sure where the country is headed to, what exactly is happening. We'll be speaking with some experts, but the issue is about the rise in killing of women and girls by their intimate partners. And we'll say intimate because sometimes we are the ones who cover the story. We get to the point where it is concluded that the two in the relationships, or sometimes even it's three, because there are cheating reports and all that. So the people involved in the relationships go beyond just ordinary friendships. So how does such relationships lead, to such chaotic situation where it gets to the point where people are even murdered, right? So we'll be having a chat on this matter. Adib Sani is a security analyst who will join us. We'll also have Ellen Amadeko. She's a member of the MPP, but when it comes to certain issues that has to do with young girls, she's very passionate. So we actually talk here as a women and child's right activist, I would say, or child activist. So she'll be joining us in the studio. But Frank Edem Adofoli will also join us, and he is also a counselor who will be telling us more about the activities of some of these young people. So it'll be a lot to learn if you have children these ages that are falling victims to such incidents. You want to pay attention to the program. We're back shortly, and then we start the chat. Welcome back to the program. It's Good Afternoon, Ghana. And I told you that the issue on the table this afternoon is the rise in killings of women and girls by their intimate partners. And you may want to put intimate in quotes because per the stories we pick, those are the information we get. And so we can best describe those relationships as intimate. Firstly, let's take you through. So we're expecting Frank Edem Adofoli, who is a counselor and also ADR practitioner as well. Ellen Amadeko is already with me in the studio, and she is a women and children activist. You know her political face, yes, but she has another side of passion to this angle, and she toes that line to help assist young children coming up. As a young girl, she has seen a lot. I'm telling you, when you see her, don't ask her about MPP issues. Ask her about childhood, lifestyle, experience, interactions with people, and all that she has gathered throughout her maybe almost 40 years of life. I'm telling you. Hey, sorry. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Today I'm on your case. So thank you for staying with us in Metro TV. Now you see how our daily lives are like almost on a daily basis. Thank you very much.
Talk about that later.
Right.
Good afternoon to our viewers.
Right.
I'm happy today I'm here not with politics, but with issues that are affecting us. You know that we are women and girls. I believe we are more than 50% of the population. So anything that affects us, I think it's something we should talk about. So I'm happy I'm here this afternoon.
Right. So if you can check my screen for me so that I can have, the details of my screen is off. All right. So let me go to the producer who probably in the last few months must have put together some of the incidences we've recorded here in Metro TV. If there are more, and I'm sure there are more, because like we say, when data is collected or statistics are put together, they are what has been captured under the radar. They are what has been captured under the radar. When authorities go out with information and incidents and events that are recorded and reported, that's when we get to hear of them. But I'm sure there are more of them that do not get under the radar. So this is recent killing of women by partners. June 3, 2023, we recorded the Criminal Investigation Department, CID of the Ghana Police Service has picked up two friends of the barber who allegedly murdered his girlfriend and students of Achim in Sutem Senior High School in Fantiakwa, South District in the Eastern Region. Now, a man allegedly kills pregnant girlfriend and son. A 28-year-old man has allegedly killed a 27-year-old girlfriend and her 7-year-old son at in Nyankwanta. Okay. In Nyankwanta, or Nyankwanta. Okay, Nyankwanta Piona and Pauna in the Ashanti region. So the suspect, Isaac Kwejonyo, a welder, committed the crime on May 27, 2023. And then we also have, according to reports, some community members made a missing person report to the Nyankwanta police 3 days after failing to locate the woman and her son. During a search for the two, the police discovered their bodies in the only room in their house after forcefully breaking the door. The police later located Kwejonyo at a Kwamankese near Mankesim in the central region after they mounted a search for him. In April 2023, policeman shot girlfriend 5 times but says he had no intention of killing her. You remember this story? So police has arrested a police officer, or maybe in the past you say police arrested a police officer, Inspector Ahmed Chumesi, who was alleged to have shot and killed a female adult who was believed to be his girlfriend. The shooting incident occurred in Kumasi in the Ashanti region on the 20th of April 2023. The suspect, who has been on the run since the incident, was arrested at Sechwe, near Ifiduase, in the Ashanti region as a result of the special police operation, which was launched following the shooting incident. The suspect also is currently in the police custody and will be put before court to face justice. A 25-year-old man, this was May 2, 2023. A 25-year-old man has allegedly been butchered by her husband at Nua in Accra, in the Greater Accra region. The deceased, whose name was given only as Eunice, was hacked with a cutlass during a scuffle with her husband. According to the reports, the young lady died on the spot after the attack. The suspect was also said to have attacked his father-in-law. Eunice had moved out of the house due allegedly to constant emotional and physical abuse by her husband. I'm sure Ellen will be very much interested in this one. So these are maybe 4, of such incidents. This happened just between April, May, June, in a space of 3 months, right? In a space of 3 months. And, the stories, when you hear them, are quite gory. So you wonder, we want to find out, is this something that is regular, or we are only making noise because of the nature of the story? What exactly is going on with the situation that we have reported a few of them, right? So we'll have Councillor join us soon, but let me start off with Ellen. Firstly, Ellen, I'm sure some of these stories, you hear them. I know that you've been very active politically, but you also pay attention to some of these. How do you or how did this information get to you with someone who is very active in such area?
Good afternoon once again. Because I'm active politically, and because of my interactions with women practically all over the country, it's been, before some of these even come to the main news, you hear little, don't even call it little, you hear incidents of women who are being butchered, who are being abused at home. Today we are specifically talking about women and girls, but let's not forget that some men are also being butchered by their wives and by people who they live quite intimately with, like they live in the same houses with. But because we are doing girls today and then women, I'll talk more about that. And I just think that these ones come for all of us to see because of the gory nature of what happens. But a lot of women and girls are being abused by different ways and by different forms. This particular issues. Remember, it's just in the past 3 months that we've read about 4. If you remember, 2-3 years ago, there was this case too in East Legon, if you remember, of quite a wealthy family, a wealthy man who also beat his wife to death. I believe the name of the wife was either Lillian or Vivian. I remember that we all made so much noise about that. He was sent to court. I don't know where the case ended. So this whole matter is not just those who are living in the rural areas of Ghana or those who are, let me say, on the lower, economically, they are on the lower part of the ladder. It goes across. And for me, I think it's a cultural thing that is being exhibited, a negative cultural thing that is being exhibited. Why? Look at all these ones. At least let's take the recent ones. The reasons the men are given for doing this is because they feel they have invested in the women. Whether it is money, whether it is time, whether it is their resources, their emotions, and they think all the 3 cases we have mentioned, the men think that the women are cheating on them. But then the question you ask is, how do you determine which woman can cheat on you? The only woman who I think can cheat on you is your wife. If you are not married to the woman, how then do you say that the person is cheating on you? But most of these people, you listen to what they are saying. Look at the Kumasi, the policeman, who you even think should know better. Yeah. And he has a wife and 3 children. And he shot her because he feels she's cheating on him and she owes him 5,000 cedis. Yes, that is the excuse he gave, but you and me know that the 5,000 cedis is no money. So it is the rationale behind and what he's thinking. So I just think that this is just a tip of the iceberg. We have more things to talk about in terms of cultural things that are happening with us in our families. And then what these young ladies are also expecting out of relationships. The latest one, the Nsutem girl, 17 years, she's still a child. She's still a child. So what is her business with her boyfriend that she can leave school during break time and go and see him, and he accuses her of cheating and stabs her? So I think we should go beyond the gory details, beyond the headlines, and really look into it. What is pushing young ladies? The one in Kumasi too, 25. Yeah. The one in Teshi, was it Teshi or Nungua? Another 26, 27. The one who was killed in Ariane Kwanta, 27. So what is it? So hold on. Let me go on to the phone lines. Let me know if you're active.
Hello, Adeb.
Good. I can hear you
Great.
now, Annie.
Thank you. So, thank you for your time. If you can give us information by data, how the picture really looks like when it comes to some of these domestic violence, especially within the youthful age brackets. What is happening? Are we having increase, decrease? What is the picture like?
Well, it is mixed because on a number of occasions we've had such violence reported, and like your guest in the studio said, it is not just constricted to men butchering women, but the other way around is happening, and it's not the first time. In the past, we've had similar reported cases, including one involving a student who dated a taxi driver at UPSA, and she lived in a hostel. I think at the point she said she was no longer interested, and the man felt betrayed because, like your guest said, he had invested so much, and so he had that sense of entitlement. As a result, he stabbed the girl in the neck and she died. We've had several other reported cases as well. But lately, it goes without saying that the figure seems to be increasing, and we seem to be getting a lot more people taking matters into their own hands. And so, as a student of criminology, I am particularly interested in studying more to find out whether there is a relationship or a correlation between the spate of attacks and the economic situation. Because we do know that more domestic violence cases were reported during the COVID lockdown era because people lived together. So I think this
Wow.
is a unique opportunity, despite the fact that it is
Yeah.
despicable for us to really look at the issues. But let me also add, Annie, that mostly people are a reflection of their environment. There was this study that was conducted in the 1970s in which children were exposed to different types of people. Some were exposed to very calm persons who did not, who were nice. Other children were exposed to violent people for an extended period. Then after that, the children were handed over baseball bats and given toys to just, play with the toy. Interestingly, majority of the children who observed violent people started hitting the toy, hitting it with a baseball bat. Okay, so when children are growing up and they see daddy beat mommy, it becomes the new norm for them.
Yeah.
They see it as normal to hit. Okay. Apart from that, there's also the issue of mental health. And I think this is something that we haven't really paid attention to. But I must say categorically, based on open source data, that a lot, I'm tempted to say majority, okay, but a lot of us have mental issues which we are either not aware of or aware of, but because of societal, connotations, because of societal stereotypes about mental health.
But then that means that it goes beyond just one individual admitting that that person actually has a mental issue, and that is because we are losing the education side of it, which is to at least imbibe in people, especially even students, growing up, for you to know that, look, it gets to a point where you know that you are even mentally unstable. And when that happens, you have to go to the hospital or you have to go to the mental health care to get some care. So that people know that it is part of us, that it gets to a point that everybody should have a certain level of mental loss, mental stability loss, that you have to go through some care to be stabilized again. Is that not where the problem is coming from?
Well, and it's a combination of a lot of factors. Okay, so if there's education for people to seek help and there's no state resources or capacity or capability to address it, obviously defeats the purpose. Okay, so in as much as I think the education is extremely key, we'd also have to work it out from the societal point of view and let people understand that it is not abnormal to have a mental health issue. It is normal to have a mental health issue. Anyone can have a mental health issue. As a result, they shouldn't attach spirituality and all manner of things to mental health. I have this friend of mine. We are so cool with each other. Sometimes I get, I let him understand that, look, there seems to be something, something wrong with you. Because, Annie, the thing is, I would speak with him. We'll be happy. We are okay. Then the next minute, he is a different human being altogether. Anger for no reason. So I went online, I searched about bipolar, and I saw a lot of similarities. So the day I thought, you need to seek help, he was so peeved. He was like, I'm insulting him. All right. So he stopped talking to me for about 2 months. Later, he got in touch with me and went like, Adib, I thought about what you've told me, even though I was not happy with you, but I thought about it. I went to the medical facility and truly I've been diagnosed with bipolar, and I'm and I'm being given treatment and all that. So I think they need our support, and the state would also have to provide its support. And hopefully we will be working to improve the mental health situation in the country.
So briefly, before I let you go, just make it short. Are we reporting or recording more of these nature of crimes these days, or it's decreasing? What exactly is happening?
No, it's going up. There's no denying that fact.
It's going up.
Yes, it is really going up. And I'm pretty sure some of them might not even be reported, especially those that happen far from major cities. But it is an incontrovertible fact.
And the severity of it is also increasing. Because
yes, obviously the lethality is increasing. People you can imagine using a blunt item to hit someone repeatedly until the person dies. So it has really become lethal. And Annie, let me just use this opportunity to appeal to young people, especially ladies. Okay, they need to love not only with their hearts but with their heads as well. Sometimes we see the red flags, and because we think we are in love, we ignore it, hoping that this is behavior. When we marry, I'll change him. Look, if you are a lady and you see any element of compulsive behavior, I want you to delete your social media account. I don't want you to have male friends. I don't want you to greet male people. I beg you, run as fast as you can away from that relationship, because it is these red flags we miss, and in the end, we find ourselves in sticky situations that is hard to come out from.
Adeb, I'm grateful for that professional advice. We'll leave it here. Let me attend to those in the studio as well so that we can build on what you have given us. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
Right. So that's Adeb Sani indicating, and he has actually earlier on stated that from the COVID season, you realize that these crimes were increasing, and I'm sure it has continued till date, and it's rather on the rise. Okay, so let me now welcome my guest into Mr. Adofolo. You're welcome. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for making it into
Thanks
the
for
studio.
having me.
Right. So let me have your opening take first of all on the issue that we have on the table.
All right.
Right.
So we all agree that all of us here, we are a mixture of our upbringing, the gym, and the experience. So if you go back to how you were brought up, things that you went through, the place you live with, and then your own temperament, there's a reason why you behave in a certain way. There's a reason why you act in a certain way, a reason why you feel a certain way. And all of us cannot deny that our character is formed by that. So when you meet people with these kind of issues, behaving a certain way, you might think that, why is it easy for somebody to go and behave abnormal like this? And me in particular, I won't be able to do that if I'm given that particular circumstances. It's just like when you're giving mortar, giving yam, and they ask you to prepare something, you might come out maybe with fufu. But what about somebody who have the only mortar, no yam? It might not come out with what? Anything. So the people that brings us up, who help us, the experience we go through, if the issue about anger, and we know we train how to deal with anger, sadness, how to deal with sadness, all this informal behavior. So people grow up and they do things in an abnormal way, and they think that that is who I am.
Okay.
It's fine. And when people see something wrong with it, they don't see anything wrong with such behavior. So if we are going to relationship, we have opportunity to get to know the people. Then we can decide this particular person, who he or she is. I have some things that I cannot live with, I cannot condone. If we cannot have a conversation and have a change of character, a change of behavior, we cannot change the character, but change of the behavior, then let go this relationship. And again, if the person is behaving a certain way that affects you and the relationship, you have the right to let the person know how you feel. If they really care about you and they're able to work on that, that is fine. But people who have gone through negative experience in life, when they come to relationship, because of rejection, because of abuse, they want to use control. So I'm in a relationship with you. The power over you is the control. So if I have money, I'll use money to control you. If I give you phone, I determine who you talk to at what point in time. So with the control element, you become like their slave on whatever they do. Go here, come here. If you don't go by that, they are going to punish you, hurt you, abuse you in that instance. So we should all be aware where we...
But you see, those days when we were not even preaching women empowerment, right? When women were, I would say, literally slaves of men, or maybe domestic helpers of men, you weren't recording more of these.
So the control, as we are talking about...
Because at that time, men were providing almost everything. But they won't slash you and be killing, well, once in a while. I'm not sure that these crimes started today. But today, even within the age brackets that we're recording these incidences are quite strange.
This is someone who is struggling with money. And the little money the person have, instead of to save and invest for the future, is spending that little money on a relationship.
Because he's having a relationship with you.
Yes.
He's not actually having a relationship, he's sleeping with you.
Good. And then with this little money that he's spending, he's thinking that his investment is more than what you are bringing in. And I've said on several occasions, when we see this kind of relationship, it's just like a barter trade. And sometimes people put value on one, they don't put the value on another thing. Somebody say, oh, I've taken care of you. And I ask you, take care of me for free? You don't do anything with me? I don't spend time with you. I don't watch for you. I don't do... There are things I do for you. You don't see value on that. But yet, you see value on what you give me in terms of physical cash. So people who are coming in such relationship, whatever they are bringing in, they want to control it. And we have to plead with our ladies who are going to such relationship. We should be independent. And I think we are doing very well. Empowering ladies to go to school, acquire skills, get where they want. The aim is not to just go and find a man and depend on a man. That's not the aim. So with a young ladies issue like this, 17 years, you are going to school. Student, what student do? Student study. You have a family. They know you've left the house. How come you are in a relationship or parents have no idea? You use a smartphone. So whatever conversation that goes around, your interaction, if people observe you closely, they will be able to pick a signal, oh, the way my daughter is so happy, there's something that is even triggering that happiness. Let me get to know the daughter. Who is this person? Who is this friend? Let's talk about it. There's nothing like that. So the daughter is on her own. So she goes to school, she do whatever she wants to do. Today, when the daughter is no more, we come back and we're asking ourselves the question, how come I didn't pay attention to A, B, C, D?
Yeah.
And it's too late.
Yeah. In paying attention, Ellen, so I just reflected on maybe the outside world. If you go to the US, for example, if you go to UK, we have a lot of teenage girls. You know, a lot of teenage girls. Most of them, they get pregnant, they give birth, they continue school. They give birth. I mean, sometimes I actually admire the way they do it. So you see that at age 25, she has 3 kids. And she's fine. I mean, it's not like she's fine. Well, the state is supporting, but she's fine. In terms of, it's not like a fight with the baby daddy and there's murder and there's things like that. The father is not taking care of the child, but she's fine. She's been able to make 3 children, and it's not like they're just killing each other. But when you hear the stories where now it gets so bitter that we slash each other and kill.
Annie, who says they are not killing each other? We have...
No, I'm not saying that they don't. I'm saying that there are incidents or events where you have young girls who go through a similar...
And you realize that those young girls have support.
Yeah,
Listen
actually.
to their story. You realize that any young lady all over the world who has been able to go back to school after having a child, especially a teenage young person, had some form of support. Either her mother or family or the state, somebody took care of that child for her to go back to school. Their system is very different from our system. We come from a cultural system where, well, I'm going to say it today too, we are hypocrites. We are a hypocritical society. We behave like these things are not happening. We have parents, and Councillor spoke about it, that how come the parents didn't even notice that she was going out with somebody? We have parents who know in their deepest of hearts that you do not take care of your daughter. There were issues where I had to deal with a stepmother. You know, the father, the girl's mother is dead. A stepmother has come in. Now, typical Ghanaian father, he would give the money to his wife to take care of the home. Because of, I don't know, issues of jealousy. I mean, the girl was quite grown before her mother died. Apparently, the stepmother came into the relationship before her mother died. So there are tensions in the house.
Yeah.
This stepmother was able to sit down for a whole year. The money that the father gave for the young lady, for her parts, for panties, for underwear, you know, the woman didn't give it to her. So she went around without these things, but her father had provided it. And because most fathers do not have any sort of relationship with their children, the girl couldn't even talk to her father and tell him that this is what is happening to me. Fortunately,
For a year.
for over a year, I was friends with her mother before her mother died. She actually called me that she was looking for my number. She called the TV station the day I was there, and she said, Auntie, so when she mentioned her mother, I was like, hey, how are you? She said, Auntie, I had to see you. She came and she was in tears. Look, Annie, she removed her dress and it was terrible. I had to quickly organize and get her all those things and call her father. The man came and he was totally unaware. That is how unaware some parents are. So there's the money, there's the house, there's everything, but there's no love, there's no attention.
So this has actually absolutely nothing to do with poverty.
No. Because we have lived in this society where people didn't have anything. People went to school. My father went to school shoeless. But they did end with this. His father was interested in him. Sometimes it's the interest and the little you have. This is a father who had been giving money for over a year. The money simply didn't get to his daughter.
So it's I'm not sure if I should describe it as a family.
It's I think it's a dysfunction.
We have,
in our
yes,
family system.
exactly.
Where we now,
exactly.
It's like everybody is on your own. And then you also have to look at the life the father also had. What was his background?
Because I'm thinking of this story is it Cape Coast? What's our credit? I think it's Cape Coast, where we're told that these young girls sleep
Sheleshe.
with men and they call it sheleshe. You know, they call it the sheleshe is when they can line up how many men to sleep with, depending on how the candle they light run out. So they will just be taking their turns on you until the candle they have lit run out.
That is how
I mean,
some parents, I know there's poverty, I agree. But then the point is we've had these issues for years. So how come in the past, with all the poverty, with everything, things that should be basic, these girls do not, we didn't have to fight for it. It was provided.
So is it a girl's problem? Because most of the times you find that it is the women who fall victim.
Yes. But boys do not menstruate.
Yes, exactly.
I'm sure boys also have their issues.
Yeah,
but when it comes to...
And you find out the things they need, they are simple things like
very
pads,
simple.
panties.
Panties. And you know, let me finish with this story. I called the man. The man broke down in tears. That is his first child. On the phone, he calls his wife, and the woman says she does not respect me. And this was a 16-year-old girl. So if this girl has a baba in the area for a boyfriend who will give her
like fine boy.
15 cedis, 20 cedis to go and buy the pad and get the things. And then you forget that the baba too, he has to work for his money. So if every day he's giving you 15 cedis, 20 cedis for whatever reason, because you are neglected at home or for whatever reason you are coming for his money, and he feels that you are cheating on him, mental issues, stress, everything put together. And of course, the Baba too is a young man, emotions that he can't even control. So I'm not in any way holding court for the better. I mean, a lot of other people also go through this. They don't kill. But I'm just trying to explain that when parents, we forget our responsibility for whatever reason, whether we are chasing money or we feel that we have provided the money, the child should be all right. It is not the money. It is the care.
So where do we start? You know, because of time, let's go into solutions. Where do we start from? We obviously have a dysfunctional family system. Obviously. I'm not sure the educational system, what solution it's providing for young girls. Maybe privately you have NGOs like yours who will attend to some girls and provide a few things once in a while. But I menstruate every month. But you don't bring me the things every
Every
month.
month.
You know, I have to feed. Today we are talking about school feeding issues. Children are not even getting the money and all that, or they are not getting enough, food in school or better food. So they may want to, and adolescent age, it's so critical.
The school feeding issue. I just noticed that we feed the children from, I think, kindergarten to class 6.
Okay.
GSS is not part.
So they have to take
And
off
then
themselves.
they finish, they go to secondary school, they are also fed there. So the question I asked is, I think there's a lapse in policy we should look at.
Exactly.
Because between class 6 and the GSS 3, that is where the children are developing.
Yeah.
But we don't feed them.
So we don't feed JHS.
No.
And then we jump to SS because of free SHS.
No, SS crowd, even before free SHS, most of the schools, they had
feeding
subsidies with feeding. But that little break in it, the GSS, I think we have to look at it and then either incorporate them, because most of these girls are not even eating well.
All right, so the solution is start from the house. It means start from the relationship. If you meet somebody out there and you want a relationship, how ready is the person? That the person have what it takes to meet your basic needs in that relationship. In terms of resources, shelter, food, these things comes into place. We need to look at that. As when we bring up children, and the children become one particular parent's responsibility, not the two parents working together, then the child is going to be a responsibility on the state. And our social welfare system is not supporting so much. So when a child becomes this responsibility or liability, anything at all goes. So we start with the house, the home. And when the children come in, every aspect for the child is important. You see, the initial stage of the child development, everything counts. So parents need to pay attention to the child development, the friends, the child, mingling, how they even process anger, sadness, all these emotions. We have to have a conversation about it. Help the child grow to a certain state that they are able to manage their life.
Let me just throw it out that if people are passionate about children, and I'm not going to force it on anybody, if you're passionate about children, try and adopt any little groups you identify anywhere. Because now I think your recommendation is high level because, Charlie, we're not going to achieve that now.
Annie, Councillor, let me interrupt a bit. The little we also do as a society helps.
Yeah,
this morning
that's what
I was
I'm
having a
saying.
discussion with you about somebody practical. I had to take care of.
Right.
Practical is just my daughter now. So we have to, it's like we become too individualistic. Everything is for us. If by God's grace I'm not saying everything is perfect. You know everything is not perfect with me. Mm-hmm. But you are at a place where you can at least provide the little things. Look, we have people in this country who are working with people like nannies, house helps. You have no idea what they are going through with their own children and with their families. We have families who throw away food. And they're next door, just behind their house. People are hungry.
Yeah.
It's like we have lost that touch that we used to have as Ghanaians. Where, when I was younger, I could move to the next house and eat. If my mother is not there.
Yeah, I was thinking that we just lost.
I don't know. I don't want to go into the religion matter because
I think it's the
we have people who are going to churches and they are being told that your neighbor is a witch. No. You give your children witchcraft. So you are not around. You are in the market. You are busy. Your child comes home from school and that child is hungry. You are not there, but she cannot go to the next house because she has been warned. So that Baba in the streets.
And I'm sure the neighbor saw the lady hanging out with the Baba, but was minding her business. Maybe.
Because if she goes to say it, maybe the neighbor is also dealing with her things.
Let me take my time and read. It says
we will say a lot of things about her. So
Abugri Ayaba from Yarigu in Boko, West District, Zebila. He writes this: the ladies demand a lot with a lot of harsh language towards the men. In remote villages and other similar areas, the parents of the girls are not also helping us. 3, the young ladies and men of today don't listen to pieces of advice because social media is negatively impacting their lives. I agree. I so much agree. When you go to China, they have their own Facebook. Our educational system too is very poor, such that the students are and managers of school management and teachers, hence discipline is now in the negative percentage. Most of the young men have taken into drugs, abuse, and they don't listen to anybody. I'm Jake, enjoying the program. Okay, this is a different message. I'm Jake, enjoying the program. Nungwa Odogono. He says that, as the saying goes, charity begins at home. Most of these guys who perpetuate these deeds have a very poor upbringing. Upbringing, to the best of my knowledge, is the responsibility of both mother and father. Greetings to Councillor Adofole. Most of these things happen as a result of lack of parental guidance. There was one time when I was little, I went out. We went to do group studies. And then after the group studies, children, we won't go home. And we're sitting outside just having conversations. I came home around 9 p.m., 10 p.m. My grandmother beats the hell out of me. I mean, the hell out of me.
Your grandmother beats your child.
From that time, wherever I'm going to do group study, she has to know. She gives me time to close, whether the group study has closed or not, and I have to get home at that time,
And then if you look back now, those interventions have shaped you, those experiences have shaped you. So for initially, what I was saying, our background, our experience, all these things shape us. So if we get it wrong, there's going to be a problem. And going up, those going to relationship who are responsible, like what we are talking about is about relationship. If you go into a relationship and somebody show a behavior that you are not happy about, the person is just telling you that I'm not the right person for you. Why do you want to force the person to fit in? If you think that you are faithful and the person is not faithful, what do? Let the unfaithful person go and look for your faithful person.
But that the thing that we say charity begins at home, which is why everybody, including you, are saying that it starts from the home. You've seen that the world is changing. Mother is working, father is working, nobody is at home now. Now nobody really cares. So even if you say charity begins at home, it's like the father who thinks that I'm caring for my daughter by giving her money through the stepmother. And she's not giving the money to her. And the father didn't know that's because of his busy schedule. And the girl is not complaining. And the mother is not speaking the truth. Exactly. So in this case, if you have a family as responsible as this, for example, how should we solve the problem within this family?
Create the atmosphere, a safe place for your parent, the parent to do that. Reach out to your children. Know what they eat, where they've been to. Even pick them from school. Talk to them. How was your day? Help them with the assignment. Sometimes you are so busy. If it is weekend, when you come out, you have catching up to do.
You know that there are some parents in Choco here, just Choco here. They tell their daughters to go and find men. They actually push them
in their mind, thinking going to find a man, they are doing the child good, but they are destroying the child.
But they don't care because that's the same training they've also gone through and grew up with.
It comes back to hurt them in the long run. It comes back to hurt them at the long run. So what we are doing, when you have a child, how long will the child take? Just a few years and they are on their own. So help them to be independent and be on their own. And that is something that you are doing to help Mother Ghana, help the nation, help yourself as a responsible parent. And if they grow up, the kind of relationship they even go into will based on their background. If I'm coming from a good home, there are some behavior I won't accept it. But obviously, when the person grows up and they are lacking a lot of things, they end up in a wrong relationship just because of their needs. And then they find themselves in the place that we don't want to be. And the men, as we are talking about the ladies, the men out there, we need to be responsible.
The men are frustrated.
And we need to be responsible.
They are very much frustrated.
Everybody is frustrated.
No, but you see, because he mentioned in COVID season, I mean, these cases were more. You could tell that in COVID, people lost jobs.
Women also lost jobs.
No. But men have more pressure. Men, to be honest, men always have more pressure.
We have pressure. That's why God gave you the wives or our daughters or our ladies. We can have a conversation with you. But there are men comes in and they don't want to talk about it. Sometimes when you just share the emotions, you feel better. Just talking about it makes you feel better. But you're not talking about it, you are thinking through. You get so angry, so frustrated, and nobody knows what is happening. And that creates even tension at home. People are afraid of you. They don't want to get closer to you. They don't know at what point in time you will explode. That makes it difficult. We live in a family, so everyone matters. So open yourself up for people to come to you. If you can't go to them, make the access available. And we have friends. Sometimes when we meet the men at the weekends, and I ask them, say, what kind of friends do they have? What kind of advice do they get from these friends? If they are getting a good advice, that could even shape. But obviously, maybe they are getting a wrong advice. So going on a relationship, we need to have a responsible relationship. And when we go into a relationship and people show their behavior and we are not comfortable with the behavior, there are two things we can do. Let's look for solutions to get better individually. If we can't look for solutions, let's go separate way.
I feel like just traveling to some village before some 1 year,
Who says the trouble is not there?
And group some girls and court them through the journey of being a young girl and growing up.
Annie, for the solutions, I think one of the things we should also hammer on is the involvement of fathers, especially in the lives of girls. I keep on telling that I'm a typical example. My sisters and I are a typical example of what the involvement of a father does. When your father is involved in your life as a woman, you are confident. You are able to pick up, especially when you have a good father. When you meet other men or you meet men, you know which one is good because you have a standard.
Yeah. I mean, I read quotes that says that whenever you give birth to a first girl or something, notes that you are her first.
You are the standard
man in her life.
So because of how my father treated me, and I can say by extension my sisters, there's no way we'll stand in any relationship where a man will beat us because our father never beat us. And it is very easy to pick up the red flags. So the involvement of men in the lives of their children, for the girls, is so important because that shapes us for the rest of our lives. Up till today, any man who is scruffy and you come near me, I look at you like this because my father has never been scruffy, clean shaved. Yeah. I mean, when he was working in the bank, you should see his suits. And that has been my standard. I mean, you can't approach me when you are all scruffy and looking dirty.
So men, I hope you're listening.
So the men have to show some standard. When you, the man, the father, you are beating her mother. You are an irresponsible father who is having children all over the place and you are not taking care of them. You tell the girl that it is okay to be with a man who is irresponsible.
So these guys who have been hacking their girlfriends to death.
Most of them, you realize that they come from homes where these things happen. Let's go back into their. It is normal for them in their home, in their wherever they were raised, for women to be beaten, and they have taken theirs an extra mile. So a father's involvement in a young girl's life, a woman's life, is so important. Assuming the person's father is not around, we have father figures.
Of course.
Some have their fathers died before they were born. We have uncles. And the mother, so whoever is responsible for them should be sure that these are men who would also not turn around and become predators. Because the girls face so much from every angle. Some of them, you realize some of these girls too, the reason why they are even stepping out and looking for, most of them, it's not even the money. The love and the affection is because at home, there are some predators in the house. Not necessarily their father. It can be the houseboy. It can be an uncle. It can be a cousin. And because we do not have cordial relationships with our children, some of us scream on our children, especially the mothers. We take out our frustrations on these children so they cannot even come to us and tell us, Mommy, this gentleman is abusing me. This one is touching me in places he shouldn't touch me. She's afraid. Some of the fathers do not even have any relationship with their children. When they are coming, they park their cars. The children start getting into their rooms. They don't want to talk to you because you are a very, very mean father. We have to talk to our fathers. It's not just those who are coming from, as I said, socially grounded. Even those fathers who have the means, they are neglecting their daughters. And that is why a girl will go into a relationship with a baba, a 17-year-old girl, and not notice that the man is abusive. She doesn't know. She has no standards.
All right, my time is up. So I'm grateful for your time, for coming into the studio. So I had Frank Edem Adofoli, who's a counselor and ADR practitioner. Also, Elena Madeko, women's and children activist. Also, Adeb Sani is a security analyst. I am Ania Fampovo. Thank you for watching. We will have this conversation again as we keep recording more of these incidences. We just hope that the statistics will go down. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.